Let's see. There were no votes taken in executive session. Correspondence, we don't have any. Public comments. Next item is the consideration and vote to uphold the superintendent's recommendation on grievance number 03-2018-2019. Do we have a motion? Motion by Mr. Iannetta, seconded by Mr. Angiosi. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item, superintendent's report.
We discovered a large crack in the gym wall as well as cracks in the exterior wall and one bearing wall. The gym door had shifted and one door could not be opened. Mr. Fioli and I had O'Day Engineering inspect the cracks and do a safety assessment. I've included in your packet a letter of confidence that the school was safe for occupancy. He recommended that the door be shaved so it could be opened, as well as stabilizing some of the blocks near the top of the gym wall near the crack. Mr. Feroli has done all of the recommended work. We are waiting for the report from O'Day on recommendations to fix the problems at Ritchie. There were cracks discovered in 2015 and a large crack in 2016. Repairs were made with large metal plates attached to the walls, as well as all metal as well as metal staging from the floor to the ceiling. I've included photos of the repairs and the new cracks. I have also included a copy of a letter from the trust denying a claim for the work, as well as a copy of the geotechnical engineering report for Ritchie Middle School, and that report was done in 2017. We have, as I said, had O'Day Engineering. He is probably the top structural engineer in the state of Rhode Island. He has gone through the whole building. He has already recommended that we put monitors on those cracks to monitor how quickly they are separating, and he is going to be coming out with a recommendation on how to correct it. Now, I did talk to Joe DeSilva at the Department of Education about what we would be able to do to correct the problem. I'm anticipating that O'Day will come back with a report that will probably have a significant cost to fix the foundation at Ritchie so that this does not continue to get worse. When we get that report, there is money that was in the health and safety bond for the other schools. I think we have some money left that we have not spent. That may be a possibility to pay for the repairs, to put the foundation the way it should be. If you read that geothermal report, you'll find that it reported that you have to go down 38 feet before you hit bedrock. So to put the pylons in there and the foundation, they got to go down 38 feet to hit before they hit a solid surface. Also in that report, if you take the time to look at it, I guess there's an aerial photo of that area. In 1951, there was a photo of that. There was a large pond on that thing. I know I had heard rumors that there was a cranberry bog. It was a pond. And there was also an ice house that they used to make ice out of the pond. But what that engineering report did back in 2017 in January, it overlaid the pond on the new addition, and about a third of that new addition was built over the pond, and that's where we're having the structural problem. So I think when this report comes back and what we need to do there, I think this committee should pursue and probably would have to go to RIDE to see if we can get some additional housing aid along with whatever money that we have left over to do the repairs. Those are repairs that would have to be done during the summer. So that would be my recommendation to this committee when the time comes to look at that.
Okay. Anything else, Mel?
So that concludes that part of it. I do have a second part of B. We have 4 elementary schools who do not have library media teachers. We have advertised twice with not even one applicant. I would like to rename the libraries at the elementary schools, and I've actually included in your packet, and if you, hopefully you get a chance to look at it, it's a diagram of the new naming of the libraries, and there are 4 circles on it. Each circle is what's right in the BEP for educational, for library media programs. We would like to call the libraries the Information Literacy Innovation Center. And I've already met with the principals, I met with all of the librarians, and they are putting together and helping me put together a job description. And once we have that job description for this position of Information Literacy Innovation Specialist, we will post it. I also have corresponded with RIDE, and we can get a different certification for this. I would also advertise it if there happens to be a library media specialist that would want to come to something like this. So it would be a library media specialist. It may be a reading teacher. It may be an elementary certified teacher. But I do have to send this job description to RIDE, and they'll let me know which certifications would apply. So I just wanted to give you a heads up that this is something that we are going to move forward with. It's a disservice to those 4 schools, to the close to 800 students that are not getting a true library media program at those schools. So this is a innovative way to actually be able to provide those services and still meet all of the requirements of the BEP. And I do want to thank Janine. She's the kind of, she at one of our meetings kind of was thinking outside the box about, how do we get library media specialists when there's nobody out there? So this is a way of looking at it outside the box.
I think it's a good idea myself. Any questions, anyone? Okay. All right, next item of the consent agenda. I'll just read the items on the consent agenda. If there's anything you want to pull off that agenda and vote separately on, that's fine too. All right. Approval of homeschool request, field trips request, approval of resignations, approval of leaves of absences, approval of appointments, approval of retirements, approval of minutes from the September 26th session and public executive and public session. Is there any item that we want to vote separately on? Anybody?
Anthony, the executive session should be pulled off because we have to also seal those minutes.
Okay, so we will take that off there and vote on.
Do you need a motion to approve all of the consent agenda?
Yes, I'm going to ask for that in a minute once we get squared away as to what we're pulling off. Is anything else anybody wants taken off? Okay.
So I'll make that motion to approve the agenda consent items with the exception of the executive session.
Right. Seconded by Ron Iannetta. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted.
So Anthony, I'd like to make a motion to seal and approve the executive session minutes from September 26, 2018, pursuant and applicable to Rhode Island General Law 42-46-4 and 5.
Right,
Second that.
Second by Mr. De Silva. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item, I'm going to ask.
We're going to table number 6?
Yep, a motion to table on the policy because I understand you're still working on it, right?
We're not ready for a first read.
Right, okay. So we're going to table that. I need a motion to table?
So moved?
Motion by Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr. Andriozzi. Okay. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Approval of bills?
I have a question.
Yes.
Page 2 of the bills, Citizens Bank, 10-4-18. Just curious as to what it's for. Page 2, it's probably the 2-4-6-8. It's like the 12th one down. The amount is, I have a question about, on the bills, page 2, Citizens Bank, 10-4, the amount is $2,894.40. I'd just like to know what it's for.
Okay. Oh, okay. We were notified by Citizens Bank that the last charge card statement from the charge cards that used to be in place had not been paid. So we got copies of that, and we actually talked to the policeman who has the originals on file, and he's aware that we got that statement and that we need to pay it. But he has the originals in his office, so.
So when were these charges from, do we know?
I believe that the last one was in June, and it was used to actually put an ad in LinkedIn for the finance director's position.
So we use the Citizens Bank credit card to post an ad in a Lincoln publication,
Yes.
and the amount was $2,800.
Oh, no. The last charge on there, you asked me when it was used. The last charge was $495, and it was for that LinkedIn purchase. So the others were prior to that.
Okay, so this bill would be for all charges that were made during June? Is that correct?
Yes, should be. Yes.
And we don't know exactly what the charges are because the police currently have.
Well, it does give a description on the statement.
Okay, so all right, and we never paid it. From June, we never paid it.
No, I believe that what happened was that it got tied up in all of the documentation that was pulled together, so it never made it through the payables process.
Okay, so from this point forward, I should not see another Citizens Bank.
To the best of my knowledge, you should not.
So next month, there will not be another Citizens Bank on the bills
No, not
paid.
that I'm aware of. And if there is, I'll let you know before you see it on the statement.
Because we do not use Citizens Bank for anything else other than that particular charge card,
Well,
correct?
We use Citizens Bank for all of our, the capital account, but no charge cards, but the capital account, the pre-K account, there's another one that she has, but I don't quite remember the name. So we have an ongoing relationship with them, but it's no longer related to charge cards.
So Citizens Bank, though, should not appear if we have accounts open with them. Citizens Bank should not appear as a payee, correct? We should not have to pay Citizens Bank anything.
No.
We just have accounts open with Citizens Bank.
Correct.
So next month, when we get the bills paid, I should not, if everything is correct, and I'm understanding correctly, I should not see anything that says, Citizens Bank, we paid them X dollars.
Correct. And I probably should have made you aware of it before and identified it for you, knowing the issue, so that I could have headed that off at the pass.
Thank you very much. I greatly appreciate it.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Ms. Josie. Any further questions? No.
Sure, I make a motion that we pay the bills.
Motion by Mr. Angiosi, seconded by the entire committee. Discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, so voted. Okay, next.
I'll make a motion to approve the use of property requests for discussion.
I'll second and there is
Motion by
discussion.
Mrs. Picard, seconded by Mr.
The
Silva.
Silva.
Discussion.
So the discussion, I'm sorry, do you have discussion?
I do.
Oh,
Are you sure? So, my question is, I know that the employee that handles the use of property requests is not available to the district right now, and my concern is that we're not seeing all, and for example, I know that my daughter's attending something at her school, I don't see it listed, it wasn't listed on the last agenda, so my concern is that we're not necessarily approving the use of property requests at all of them. So, we're gonna need some kind of a tracking device that, is in place to ensure that we're actually approving the appropriate ones and things aren't being misconstrued, because I know, for example, her event is I think the second week of November, and if wasn't on the last agenda and it's not on this agenda, then I'm thinking, Yeah, well, and it's by, I can't think of it, the name of it, it's like a, Stephen Only. She goes to Stephen Only.
That's what I was thinking.
If it's from the principal, yes, but this isn't, like, it's like an outside, I had to pay for it.
Oh, okay. Outside after school.
Right, so I think, you're correct, like, so if Miss Napolitano was running, you know, an after-school, you know, event for the kids, or a PTO, even though, well, actually, the PTO has to do it, that doesn't make sense. But, any event that the school is running, you're correct, they wouldn't have to put it in, but if it's an outside, or if it's a PTO-sponsored event, then it has to go through here. And I just think, I want to make sure, because I know that that's going to be a concern moving forward, because now, my fear is that as we move into busy season with the gyms, that will be overlapping.
Well, which segues into gyms. So my concern is, I realize the soccer league is putting in for Greystone. Did the basketball league put in for Greystone? Okay. So I thought.
Excuse me.
We already approved NPYBA.
Jimmy, I gotta ask you something. Are you all set?
Well, just to clarify,
Okay.
Mr. Silva, I agree with Mr. De Silva, we've already approved NPYBA.
Yeah,
So they
North
already
Providence
put theirs
Basketball
in.
was here 2 weeks ago. And it was either 2 weeks ago or last month
You know
that
what's
we
going on,
approved for
right?
basketball. So that needs to be looked at. And the other one is, I'll wait.
Jimmy, all right, let me pose a question, Jimmy. My understanding is, are we looking for some materials pertaining to use of property, like, right? Yeah, now, can you make a request of the employee? Is there an employee that has this information or something, that has stuff that we should have? Yeah. Yeah, no, I know you got a tough job right now because you're just thrown into it, right? Yeah.
But there should be a tracking system that's not with one person, that lives in a document where multiple people have access and can see what's being utilized. So my motion, and I'll wait till after this is done, but I just want to be sure, because like Mr. De Silva said, I know we approved the North Providence Youth Basketball Association, and now we have the soccer league, so we want to make sure what we're not doing is duplicating facilities. Okay.
Okay, and the other one I had, to make sure we don't have a discrepancy with, would be the North Providence Baseball High School field. I'm pretty sure Babe Ruth has already taken out their property usage. I see Connie Mack has, well, we can only hope that they work pretty. So I guess a provision of this motion is to, which we do every year, is that the leagues who use our baseball field need to work out the schedule, so we give them the approval to use the fields. Don't come back here and say, well, you gave it to him and not us, they got to work together, and you're aware of that. Thank you.
And the other question I have is regarding the High Step and Dance Academy. I don't have the original sheet, so I don't know, typically the sheet that we, cover sheet that we have that tells us that they're paying, I don't have that sheet, so I just want to make sure that there is the charge and it's the correct charge, because I don't see that in the packet. No, but for our bylaws, we have a policy in place for facilities, so those fees have to be determined, okay. And all the proper insurance, like usually there's a document that says insurance, yes, no, okay.
Okay. One more thing. Yeah,
So
all
the,
Motion for discussion, so now we have to take the vote.
right. All set. All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, so voted. Next item is the meetings, and we need a motion on that. We have the meetings scheduled in front of you. You should have it
Are you
anyway.
going to do that?
The motion.
You gonna do that, the meeting?
Motion by Ron Iannetta.
I have a second for discussion.
Okay, seconded by Ms. Picard. Discussion.
So I would like to, because the high school graduates, I believe it's June 6th or 7th, I'd like to move the June date of June 26th to June 19th, if that's okay with the committee.
All right,
That's
motion.
the only change I have to that calendar.
All right, she's making a motion to amend, subject to the moving it to the, right, okay, seconded by,
Mr. De Silva.
Mr. De Silva. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, ayes have it, so voted. School committee reports, there aren't any, request to address the committee, there aren't any pending business. Meeting to, motion to adjourn is in order.
So moved.
Motion to adjourn at 8:20.
Oh, second, and Mr. Alex Cora says get home because you need to go watch baseball.
Okay, that's all, you want to say something? You can come up if you want.
Hello? Is it on? My husband and I realized that just like any other program, no matter whether it's a school, in a school setting or anything at work, anywhere, when there's a new pilot program, there's kinks to go through, there's learning curves, obviously with the children, the students, the teachers, the educators, the faculty, and obviously at home too, whether it's parents, families, and so on and so forth. My husband and I are just extremely concerned. It's a new program, and we have a week left of October. Report cards will be coming out in mid-November, and we just feel that we do not have a hold of our child's, our fifth graders' education and curriculum this year because of Summit, because of this new program. I had reached out to our math teacher, Stephen Only, and requested a meeting, and we did. We met yesterday morning. By surprise, it was not planned that the principal, along with the superintendent, showed up, and the two contacts for Summit. That was not planned on our account, and we weren't notified about that. We just thought we were going to have a meeting with strictly the teacher. We did appreciate their coming because we did have questions regarding Summit, not just with a particular subject for our child, but at the same time, that was not a planned thing. We were going to actually ask for a meeting regarding just Summit. We had, at our elementary school, we had a open house towards the end of September, for all families, a regular open house like they always do. And that afternoon, we received an email from our principal stating that the fifth grade families were going to meet for about maybe 15, 20 minutes or so, just a brief introduction regarding this new summit program. Ended up being the whole open house time. It was over an hour. We feel that we've been told, and we researched the summit program, and it's been in place for 4 years here. And we feel that, number one, families have not been properly informed on this new program. Children are spending quite a bit of time online on their Chromebooks, obviously learning the program, which they're going to be spending more time on it in the beginning, but still spending quite a bit of time during their class time on the program. Still don't know how to maneuver through it, and families have not been properly informed on this. We are supposed to now just have an open house sometime in November for fifth grade families about this new program. And again, I like to look ahead. I like to be informed. My husband and I like to be informed and involved in our child's education. And their first report cards are going to be coming out, and their grades are going to be affected by this. I don't like to wait. I like to be prepared. I like to be involved. I like to help my child. And to this date, which is October 24th, we feel that we do not know how to help her. And that's a big problem. My daughter's coming home upset, overwhelmed, and her pediatrician's going to know about this. And I was just wondering if any of you have actually gone into the summit program. And I want to show you something. My husband spent 2 hours this evening trying to help my daughter on, last night was science, tonight was history, and this is what shows up on the summit program. Have you checked out Summit?
So I have an
Inappropriate
extensive,
on Summit. No,
may I see?
but they all say it's okay. That's directly on Summit. When you go on Summit, what it is you have to.
So Summit is a learning platform, not a program. What it is an online curriculum. So we have it here, the students at the high school use PTech. It's across the state. There's different, it's an online curriculum. So it's no different than having your, instead of having, let's say, your standards in a binder, that it's online. So it allows the teachers, but I think what may be happening, and I don't know specifically because I haven't visited the classrooms, is you should not see, if anything, you should see more support. Students should be having more personalized time. There should be direct instruction as well as small group instruction as well as personalized instruction independently. If what you're seeing is kids on Chromebooks all day, it's wrong. It's not being done correctly. I think, I'm not sure if, I've never seen that. I mean, I'm on the Summit. I actually have it on my, I have a Summit link. I can see all the curriculum. Teachers have the ability to use it as designed. They have the ability to start from scratch. They have the ability to add scaffolds based on what their students. So it's no different than if I handed a teacher a textbook and said, here you go, and where they would take that then and they would make sure it worked for their kids. So I just don't want there to be, so the Summit's the partnership, right? So that's a partnership with Summit. What it is, like I said, an online platform. I think my concern would be, are the teachers understanding what it should look like? So for example, I know like there's specific units where children go in and then there's a tracker. You should have a parent portal and you should be able to see exactly where they are. It tells you, it feeds the principal direct communication. When have I met with that child? What was the feedback to the child? If they're struggling, they also have what we call PLT time, personalized learning time, which is they actually changed the name of it, but basically it's mentoring.
SDL.
Yep, start.
Providence has a different learning curve, though. Okay.
I think that it's difficult, and we talked about this with your husband, about the fact that it's just it's a very different type of instruction. However, as Mrs. Picard said, it includes direct instruction, and it includes the platform, but it's a resource. It's not.
And grades aren't permanent, so if a child is, so for example, if my child was struggling and didn't do well, the ability is, if they didn't learn it yet, then the grade can get changed at any time, so there's no fixed grade, so you don't get an A and that's it, you don't get a C and that's it. It is, put it in, and then the child is able to go back, retake, try it again.
I don't know
But-
what you mean. I don't know
So,
what you mean.
the grading, you don't end up, so the grade is not final unless the child has completed their focus areas and cognitive skills. So I have the ability, if I didn't do well, to go back and retake.
Oh, like
and
a reassess, like to retake?
to retake, right?
Yeah.
And then, so, some schools, what they'll do is, depending on the district, you have the opportunity to say, well, we're gonna give them a grade, so in elementary, we use numbers, or we can just put an I, it means like, or waiting, some people say hold, but whatever that grade is in November, I can change it if the child fixes, go back, reteach, and then reassess. So you're not just retaking, there's more instruction that takes place, and they have the ability to be flexible.
I don't know, have any of you actually gone into Summit?
Yes, I'm in it every day.
Okay. Do you find it very easy to maneuver? Because when I tell you that my daughter has to, they're instructed to go into their Chromebook, go into Summit right away, and click all the links. Now, first of all, sometimes the links freeze up, so it stops. Then you have to click on the videos, watch a video. Now, for example, let's say they're learning something in history class. It's talking about the Taekwondo, let's just say tribe, or the, a word that you can't pronounce, tribe. So now they're supposed to stop the video, take notes on this. If they do not see these words and how to spell them or understand them like they would in a book form, how are they supposed to take notes on this stuff? So that's
You
what they're
can still,
instructed.
so Summit does not allow you to use books or resources. I know we still print, some kids still prefer to highlight, they have the opportunity. I think it sounds like what Ms. Tinker's saying is that because it's new to the teachers, they're not familiar enough with all the foundations. It isn't.
But it's being pushed that, no, it's not everything. They're taking a lot, or if not most of their notes from Summit. And fifth grade, that's one additional thing that they're learning, which I think is a positive thing, is note-taking. But in this note-taking comes mostly from Summit. So now if you're using a brand new program that not everybody is familiar with or even know completely yet, which you understand it's in the beginning, but everybody's struggling now, how can you use this properly? How are the kids, fifth grade, is supposed to be having this kind of responsibility on their back to know what they are supposed to be doing and it's correct in this note-taking? Answer me that question, please.
Again, I think it sounds like
anybody,
the teachers are still struggling because it's
So
new to them.
how is this going to help them to learn and what I see in the grades? Because that's how they're graded, is the grade. So if they're not doing well, then it's going to affect them. And as more time goes on, I feel like I feel like they're gambling with my child's my child's education.
So the computers should not be teaching them. The video is an additional support. So if I've given the instruction, whether it be whole group, small group, individual, there are resources for additional support, but the computer doesn't teach, that's not the teacher. That's the additional resource.
That's how it seems. That's how it seems.
And that's, I think, my concern.
That's how it seems.
Maybe there was a misunderstanding, but we did explain that yesterday, that this is a resource. The goal is for the teacher to act as a facilitator, because the goal is self-directed learning. That is a personalization tool.
Right, but they don't become self-directed by osmosis. That's going to be taught.
It is already. We're not the only family to have a concern about this, and I feel like my anxiety is up to here, and I never feel like this for my children's education.
Maybe until we all have a grasp on it, we could just not assign it for homework.
It's every day. It's every
It just
day.
sounds like it needs to, I'm wondering if the communication needs to be sort of slow it down and then make sure, so
Some
we
of
add
the
the
stuff
students.
that I'll be honest with you, my husband is a scientist, and what he looked at today in history, it's even past him. How can these fifth graders grasp this information?
So what I will tell you, it
Notes from
is
learn from it,
standard-based.
and then they're taking assessments on this. How is this supposed to happen?
I just want to ask you a question. Anybody else talk? I just want to ask you a question. Is this in isolation, or is it part of a unit? In other words, are we studying Narragansett Indians and there's a piece? Are we looking at something that has perhaps properties of matter, and there's a piece in there where they go and work on that? Or is it in isolation?
It's not isolation, it's all connected to the curriculum, and this is what we explained yesterday too, is that, so we met with the math teacher, as she said, and she explained that she doesn't just use that, she's still she's aligned to the curriculum, she's using other resources, including the text that we have as needed. So it's using all of these things in a multifaceted model of teaching. It's direct instruction, flexible grouping, it's station rotation, and a lot of it is personalized and individualized.
This is the only parent who's come before us.
Correct.
And talked about it in not a happy way, and I totally understand that.
It's a concerning way,
It's frustration.
and it's scared.
So my suggestion is, just me suggesting this, maybe it doesn't go home, and we're not putting 2 hours at home into this until we all have a handle, we, being the kids and the teachers, and the administration of the school, all have a handle on it, so we don't have that level of frustration at the parents and the kids.
It's been building every day.
If that's realistic, then perhaps you could bring that message back. If it's not realistic, then correct it.
This program was put on, was brought forward from the past superintendent that was fired last year, that was in town for a year. And my husband and I are on board with any new program.
It was the previous, Melinda Smith.
Yeah.
We worked with the P-TECH.
Right.
And then it actually across the state and in Massachusetts, and there's lots of schools that I could name.
There's some hundreds of schools involved, but there's also, I've done some research, and my husband has done some research, and there's a lot of other concerns and questions regarding this.
That was my question. How many districts are doing this, and how is it working out?
Newport, Barrington, Coventry, Charahoe.
Summit is based out of California,
Yeah.
but the New England, the piece of the program.
Oh, I got it.
Teachers know that support
Yeah.
coaching, they meet with her all the time, and they are also meeting with Wayland and Steve Nolan. The teachers are highlighting the program, also collaborating.
Piloting program, it's really not tied into the grades on the report cards.
It is, because that's what they're using in order to take their assessments. They are, every day, they're going in there, they're using that information, and
I understand that you're using the assessments, that's part of the pilot, but my concern would be, in terms of the grading, so I'm not very successful with the summit right now, and
But that's only, again, I'll speak to what the math teacher yesterday said. She had 8 grades, and they were not all connected to Summit. It was various data points that she had based on various types of assessments. So I want to be really clear on that. That's not just Summit. I think that's a misunderstanding.
but if it's a part of their resources, and we all want, if there's any kind of change, we want it to be positive, and we want children to feel good about it, feel comfortable, and hopefully the goal is for them to learn and to better educate themselves, and the families can support them. But this is not doing that.
so we need to slow down a little bit.
This is not doing that.
So
And the other thing
The
is, I
curriculum is-
really do want to stress, the other thing is, obviously, it's a new thing, the teachers, it's self-directed learning. The teachers are spending less time with the children too, in that sense, only because now they're spending more time in front of their computers on the Chromebooks with this program. That is a fact.
So, right, so it sounds like there's a misunderstanding on the fact, if that's happening, like Ms. Sightseeing was saying, what happens is, it would be no different than if Mr. De Silva and I had a textbook. And I had stations in my classroom where I'd meet with a group of students. Some may be on the computer doing some practice. Some may be doing this, working on individual projects. Some over here doing skill-driven work. But in the end, we're not the computer's not teaching. The teacher is teaching. And the level of computer time, when so self-directed, like again, it doesn't happen by osmosis. There are specific units that teachers have that help them work through how you sort of even bring in, like they shouldn't even have a Chromebook in hand on day one. It should have been thought through, process, very specific units where they're looking at them and they actually have to, they talk through like a warm-up activity, so the kids come in, pen and paper, right? It's pen and paper, and they're doing a warm-up activity. It allows the teachers to facilitate the room, see who's getting or who already knows something, so they can move forward. That group comes with me, this group goes over here, and then they can quickly use that formative assessment. But it just sounds like there may need to be some conversation around the teaching and learning piece to ensure that the teachers realize it is not, I'm on the computer all day without the teacher. The teacher is the key component, because what it allows me to do is if I can go faster, then I have that personalized piece to do that. But if someone else needs more time, they can do that, and then they have the teacher, and then the teacher's built in that rotation.
It's very confusing. The content is, like I said,
the content is standard based. So what happens is it is expectation of the grade level. What we've seen is many teachers, unfortunately, sometimes give our kids low level that are standards based, but the curriculum is based on grade level, because what's often happened is they're not accessing grade level standard because it's watered down, and summer online curriculum is vetted and it's standards based curriculum. It's normed through the grade 6, so if it's a grade 6, doesn't mean that they can get right there, but it means that they'll have to scaffold to get them to that level. So
it just seems
it's more rigorous.
It is more rigorous. It's more time consuming. There's more pressure on the children. There's more pressure on the parents. And we're working with a child that
there shouldn't be more,
didn't have issues with school, and now all of a sudden it's like, I don't know. There's so many links and videos. I can't stress that enough. That they're told that's what you have to go into, that's what you have to study, and that's what you have to take notes on.
Yeah. So it's confusion. So I have the ability, so if the teacher just taught something, I can like take a quick assessment to see what I would need. It tells me which one. I can choose so if I'm better at a video, I may need actual text, I may need this, I can actually pick. If they're directed to take every single link, then there's a confusion happening.
And I know that, like, just to give a couple examples, there was some information that was given in a math area, and it was homework, and it didn't even link up to where they were in math. So if you signed in, that information that they were supposed to do for homework, it didn't even link up. It wasn't even the same material. The other thing is, for example, on a history assessment that's going on, again, because it's self-directed learning, everybody's kind of moving at their own pace. Children, they're supposed to put this weight on them to know when to request an assessment when they're ready to take this test. I can appreciate self-learning with children because there's different rates of learning, but that's how it's been in 1950, that's how it's going to be in 2050. No matter what year you're in, all kids will learn at different rates. I'm bringing this up because I just don't know and don't feel right now that this is the right way to do it.
Did you accept now? You've met with the assistant superintendent several times, or just once, or?
No, just yesterday. That was again.
Okay.
That wasn't even planned. That was a surprise meeting.
Okay. Maybe you guys should, get together a little more often. And
I know some other parents are confused, and again, it comes with a new thing. We do logically understand that. My husband and I are logical adults,
right.
But we do not see this as being positive. Again, grades are going to be coming out. I feel like our child's education is being gambled on, and we don't have that trust anymore that we used to have in Stephen only. We don't.
Well, we want you to have that trust.
We don't. Not right now, and we're almost into November, so we're nervous and we're concerned.
The assistant superintendent.
And a lot of these things that we talked about yesterday, we still went home. Our heads are spinning. Again today, we're looking at her. Again, she comes home with no homework. She never has homework. Well, she doesn't have a math book. That's the other thing I wanted to say. There is no math book. There's no math book.
It'd be a good opportunity, though, for you
How
guys.
can we not have a
for
math
you guys
book?
to get together, talk about this, and try to iron something out. I think that's the only way we can
Who
do
else
it.
can help with this? Because I don't, who else can help?
She can help you. Let's make a motion.
Most people don't have notebooks anymore.
Are you going to work with my child when she's
That's right.
all of a sudden not enjoying school like she used to, and she was doing well before, and all of a sudden there's a change? Are you going to? How?
Okay.
I would love for all to visit the summit and really see what it's about. You do.
Thank you very much for coming up. Thank
Give
you.
us some time.
All right, you have a nice day. Night, rather.
Oh, can you also check out that inappropriate ads? Because that's only one.
Oh, my.